Hey there, kids. It's Reveal Math Lesson 6.3. Let's take a look at it together. Okay, in this lesson right here, you're going to learn how to use something called the distributive property. Okay, let me explain that to you. It says right here that you can decompose, and we've talked about that word before. That means you can just break a number apart. You can decompose a factor, and we've talked about that word before. A factor times a factor equals a product. So you can decompose a factor and apply something called the distributive property of multiplication to multiply the numbers. Okay, so let's take a look at how they did this down here. They had the problem 8 times 14. Well, they decomposed this 14 into a 10 and a 4. So now you have 8 times 10 plus 4. Well, you can break that up and you can go 8 times 10 first, and then go 8 times 4 second, and then you can add those two together. Well, 8 times 10 is 80, 8 times 4 is 32, and 80 plus 32 equals 112. Now, the funny thing is it doesn't matter how you break up this number. And you could have broken up the first number instead of the second number. It doesn't make any difference. So no matter how you break up this 14, it'll still come out to 112. And so that's what they're showing you in the second problem here. You got the same basic problem here first. 8 times 14. Okay, there's the 14 again. But this time they broke it up into 7 plus 7. Okay, you could do that. It doesn't matter how you break it up. All right, well then they went 8 times 7, that was the first 7, plus 8 times 7, that was the second 7. 8 times 7 is 56, and 8 times 7 is 56. If you add the two of those together, you get 112, just like you got over here. It doesn't matter how you break those numbers apart. You can use a distributive property and still get the correct product. Kids, right now you're learning how to use the distributive property to multiply. Okay, well, let's do it again. It says, how can you use the distributive property, all right, that's what we're talking about today, to find the product? That's the answer to a multiplication problem. Write and solve the equation and show your work. Let's do that together. Okay, well, the initial problem right here is 5 times 8, okay? And we can take this and you can break up the 5, it really doesn't matter, or you could break up the 8. Here they want you to break up the 8 though, because the 5 is already here. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. You could go 7 plus 1 makes 8, 2 plus 6 makes 8, 5 plus 3 makes 8. Okay, whatever you want. I don't know. We could go 4 plus 4, okay? But we'll do 5 plus 3. That sounds like the most interesting way to do it, okay? Well, first you're going to go 5 times 5, and then you're going to go 5 times 3, okay? Well, 5 times 5 is going to go here, and 5 times 3 is going to go here. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, and 25 plus 15 is 40. Now you knew this already because you know your basic multiplication facts. 5 times 8 is 40, but they were just showing you how to do it, okay? Let's take a look at the next one. It says 6 times 17. Okay, well, let's see this one. Okay, well, they made a mistake right here. Can you see it? Yeah, I think I'll get my black pen. Actually, I don't even have a black pen. Okay, we're going to change this. This should have been a 6 right here. Okay, that should be a 6. The book made a mistake, but you fixed it. All right, well, 6 times 17. All right, we're going to take this 17 and we're going to break it up into a 10 and a 7, because that makes 17, right? You could go 6 times 10 plus 6 times 7. 6 times 10 is 60. What's 6 times 7? Right, 42. 60 plus 42 is 102. Okay, so kids, right now you're learning how to use the distributive property to multiply. Now you could have broken up that 17 in any way you want. Okay, you could have went like 9 plus 8 if you wanted to, because that makes 17, right? You could have went like 13 plus 4. It doesn't make any difference. 10 plus 7 seemed to be the easiest way to do it, and that's the way that the book does it. Okay, well, let's try another one right here. It says, how can you use a distributive property to find the product? Use the array to help you decompose and complete the equation. Well, the most basic way to do it, this is 5 times 13. That would be the same thing as 5 times 10 plus 3. You could decompose it however you want, but this seems to be the simplest. 5, so that's going to be 5 times 10 plus 5 times 3. They're just going like this. 5 times 10 plus 5 times 3. Okay? Well, 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 3 is 15. So 5 times 13 is 50 plus 15, which is 65. Now, they want you to use the picture down here to help you out with it. Fine, okay? We first went 5 times 10, okay? And that would be right there, okay? So this will be, we cross this off, we could make this a 10 right here. 5 times 10, that would be 50 of these dots. And over here, this is 3 columns times 5. That's 15 right here. Okay? So all this is 50. This is 15. And together, there are 65 dots up there. Kids, you're learning how to use the distributive property to multiply. Okay, well, we're looking at workbook pages 175 and 176 in class today. And then you're looking at practice pages 51 and 52. All right. Well, here on the Friday quiz, you have this. You have 12 times 8 or 8 times 12. It doesn't make any difference, right? I would rewrite it like this. I would say that this is 8 times 12. That would be easier, I think. Okay. We're going to decompose this 12. Okay. You're going to break that up into a 10 plus a 2. Okay. And then multiply 8 by that. 8. Okay. We're going to go 8 times 10. All right. Well, that's 80. And then we're going to go 8 times 2 plus 8 times 2, that's 16. What's 80 plus 16? Right, so that's 96. So 8 times 12 is 96. Now, here's 3 times 14 right here. You can break this 14 apart however you want. A 10 and a 4, an 11 and a 3, a 7 and a 7. Your choice, but you want to set that up. So let's do it into, I don't know, like I said, a 10 and a 4 is the easiest, right? So 3 times, and they put it in parentheses like this because you want to separate your multiplication and your addition, 10 plus 4. Okay. And there you go. Now you're going to use the distributive property. If you go from left to right and you don't have the parentheses, some kids like to go 3 times 10 is 30 plus 4 is 34. Okay, well, that's not right. Okay. We have 3 times 10, and then we have 3 times 4, right? Okay, 3 times 10 is 30, 3 times 4 is 12, and then you need to go 30 plus 12. Okay, kids, right now you're learning how to use a distributive property to multiply. Go ahead and try it yourself. If you have any questions, come and see us. We will help you out. Kids, have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.